The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the QATV staff or board of directors. QATV, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent, member-produced public access programming.
Hello and welcome to Faces of South Asia. I'm Isha.
And I'm Sophie.
Today we are here to discuss on types of violence against women. We have brought these kind of issues earlier in our shows, but in 2016 we saw that the violence in some ways have increased globally as well as in all places. And Dove does an extremely excellent job taking care of all victims. And so we wanted to bring to you different categories of violence. And there are types of violence. One would imagine violence itself is such a cruel word, but there are types of violence. So starting with dating violence, domestic intimate partner violence, emotional abuse, human trafficking, stalking, violence against women at work, violence against women with disability, and same-sex relationship violence. We also have violence against refugee and immigrant women today. So, Sophie, what would you like to add? We know dating violence is a rather large violence because it does approach all class of society and.
It does, and I mean, when we are talking, when you were like saying all these different kind of violences, because we have put programs on all the different abuses, and it's like even molestation against kids, against people. We have so much to cover, and we have been doing that periodically. But I think it's very important to bring it up again because we sometimes forget what it is. And even like a dating violence, like it could be physical, it could be emotional, or it could be sexual. So there's all different kinds of, and we could talk about it and let people know, because usually what happens in dating violence, it starts off emotionally. You could be like hurt, like not just physically hurting them, but emotionally hurting them, and also abusing them. Where are you going? What are you doing? I want you, like texting you all the time, trying to find out where you are, basically controlling your life.
Exactly. And even though, just like you said, that there are so many types of violence, maybe we wouldn't be able to complete all of the categories in just today's show, and we can continue doing so. But it's very important for us to let the audience here in Quincy and as well as all over to know that these are the violence that are still going on in 2016. And dating violence, why we started with dating violence, because it goes to teenagers. It starts preteen, teen, and then you have the young adults, then you also have young women, and then women, and amazingly we just came to know that even divorced women who then go into a dating violence. You would imagine with all these years you would learn something, but this continues even then.
Maybe it's, unfortunately, maybe the people they choose, they seem to be the same kind of people that they like, and maybe that's why, the same, even though it's different men, but the men themselves, as we have the doctor on too, he was saying a lot of times they learn it from their own parents, from their own fathers, or a peer figure that they learn this abuse from, and they don't realize that it's abuse. That's the sad part, that they don't realize that it's abuse, and you're abusing a person, and you're taking away their right their right to choose. And when you do that, it becomes very difficult. Like, I think they forget that you cannot do that. And that is abuse, and that is violence, like against a woman.
So, as you see, that just like Soph mentioned that Dr. Adams was previously in our show, and he did bring the men's side of the violence, is they don't understand really that they are abusing. Once they understand, then they try to work with it. But what has happened is, here as well as everywhere, we also have an immigrant population, and diverse populations see dating in diverse ways, and diverse population educate their offsprings in different ways. So and also mainstream, so when a preteen starts dating, doesn't understand, or he doesn't understand what's going on. So it's like, either you're just in love or you're just dating, but it can be a woman, it can be a man, but they're asking that where are you, what you're doing. At all times, they are interested to know your name, your place, your whereabouts. That is actually control.
It is. It's a form of control where, where they're insisting to know where you are. They want you to be texting. They're texting you. First, you think, when teenagers are going out, they don't realize that this is like they're hurting them. What they do is, they think, that guy cares for me. That's why he's asking where I am and what I'm doing. It's not that, really, honestly. We found out that it's a form of control, and they want to control you because that way, even when you're coerced into having sex, when the girl doesn't want to have sex, that is a rape. Like, that is a definite, you cannot force somebody to do something, because that's not a relationship that you want to build on.
And this is what I like about America, is it has got its rights, it's got awareness. But in other countries, if a forcible sexual act is being occurred, women take it, they surrender, they don't think there's something wrong with it. If your husband's doing it, if your boyfriend's doing it, if your companion's doing it, it's something women are taught to do, and not to stand up and say, no, this is not what I want. Same thing what happens, always remember that girls below the age of 18. Sex absolutely is against the law. In the senses, if anybody is trying to have a sexual relationship with a girl below the age of 18, it's the law. It says no, no, no. So anybody who has come from other countries to America, remember, and are in this immigrant situation, remember that this is not accepted, and it's also not accepted in Europe. It's not accepted in other countries. The girl may be shy, or the girl may be, what do you say, you're scared to reveal that this man has sexually molested you?
It is a molestation, that's what it is, and especially if it's an older person. When you have teenagers, I guess in a relationship it's completely different because of the same age. But when you have an older person taking advantage of a younger, it doesn't matter if it's a girl or a boy, because you're taking advantage because they're not matured enough to know what's right, what should be right, and because they think, this is an older person. They don't realize it is a form of abuse, and that needs to be reported, because I think we take it too often lightly, that this should not be done. And I think we need to, that's why when we have topics like this, when we are covering topics like this, people are more aware of it, and I think that's why we need to do this more often, and maybe in the other countries yet they don't talk about it because it is taboo, because they don't want, they push it under the carpet because people don't want, it's kind of frowned upon, I think, not, culturally not accepted, or think, nobody does this kind of thing, and we know it happens all over the world.
It has been occurring through ages. It will happen in future also. But just so all of you understand this, it's not a taboo. If you're being molested, or if somebody has approached you, somebody adult who wants to have a sexual relationship with you, please stand up and say no, and do report to authorities, as well as you have Dove to always have a hotline so you can call them up if you need help. Secondly, pre-teenage children get to be pregnant easily because they do not know how to take care of themselves many times.
And that a lot of times too, it's the abuser who wants them to get pregnant, so that way they can control them, like what to do. And you don't want to be in that situation, so you should get some sort of medical advice, some help from the doctors that can help the teenagers out, so they don't want to be in a relationship where you're getting abused, and then you are in, like in a no-win situation, and you don't want to do that.
And I would suggest that none of the teenagers or the girls don't think this to be a taboo. It happens all the time. People don't come out and say, but I wish they did, because if they did, then we would understand how to stop it. And most people, even in their homes, don't talk about this, just like Soph mentioned. And the whole idea was to reach out to you, reach out to all our audience to say that, no, please do talk about it. We are in 2016. We would like to stand beside those girls and beside the women. It was very, very sad when a divorced woman at the age of 50 called up to say that she was being controlled, and it really touched my heart. I felt sorry for the situations that women go through, and in some cases men go through them also.
But I don't understand. What I find very difficult, I think the women should understand, like when they are getting, like when the guy is threatening, when he is abusive, if he doesn't go and get help, he will continue on being like that. Like I know someone, like, when you go back and have a relationship with that person, if he's never admitted that he was wrong, or he was never told he thought he was right, for whatever sickening reasoning, and the person goes back because she thinks, oh, it's my fault, it was me, it was my parents, or it was it was her fault. It's never your fault. That's what we need the woman to understand. It's never your fault. It's the guy's, the person's fault. It could be a woman or a man, but most of the domestic violence is against women, so that's why we use women. But it could be, but it's usually
majority are women. But this program is also aimed towards men, because if men are also watching, which I know that they do, please try to understand, educate your next generation to have the soft skills to make them understand that these are not okay. Times have changed, society has changed. The immigrants who come from all over the world, this is not what is accepted. In a refined society, we are trying our best to educate our daughters as well as our sons, and through social media, abuse is also happening. If it's happening to us, it's happening to teenagers, it's happening to all. Social media is abusing its powers to reach out to girls, and that's how, again, we have violence. We also have domestic intimate partner violence, because sometimes when you are in a long-term relationship, whether be it companion, boyfriend, or a husband, you take it for granted, this relationship. But on the other hand, you are being controlled, you are being not let to see something's going on, something's not. You are watched at every step in your life. That is also a domestic intimate partner violence. In that also the person can say, like we had a show earlier, that what you need to study, where you need to go, what would you like to wear, everything in life is controlled. So, and if someone hurts you physically, of course, it's quite natural that it's violence. But remember, violence also happens emotionally. It's not just the physical violence. Physical violence, you can see the scars, and anyone can say you are being abused. But emotional violence, it's you cannot see the scars, but it does leave deep scars going forward.
Oh, definitely it does, because that emotional violence is the one where it is controlling, where they are trying to control you, where you need to, where you need to know that this is not. I mean, they blame everything on you. Basically, they blame everything on you. They say if you don't do it, then they're either I'm going to hurt myself, or, this is what's going to happen. So they're trying to blackmail you in a way to work on your emotions, basically. Like, this is, this is your fault, kind of. Don't really say it's their fault, but say, like, if we don't do this, like, we're going to, this is what's going to happen. So
the
it's
consequences, they're always showing the consequences. And what happens is emotional abuse is related to dating violence, domestic, intimate partner violence, in all of that, because physical abuse can be seen. You got pregnant, we can see it. You got hurt, we can see it. Doctor can see it. Approach a doctor, approach an official. Emotional violence, until you speak out or until someone watches your actions, you will not come to know that this person is being abused. But if you watch the show and you feel that you are emotionally being hurt, contact us, contact the authorities, contact Dove, contact your doctor. Let them know that, because once you're emotionally affected, you really cannot perform any activities going forward in life, whether be it your job, whether be your education, rearing children, or leading a harmonious life. Emotional violence does take its toll.
Oh, it does take a toll. And if they say that, if I can't have you, no one else can have you, that's a threat. That's a threat, and no, you can't get away from that.
But some women, or some girls, they think that, oh wow, it feels so good.
Yep.
My boyfriend or my so-and-so companion says that if I can't have you, no other person can have you. Oh, I'm only for this person. But it's absolutely an abuse. No one should have the right to judge you, control you, stop you. You are the master of your own self.
Of your own destiny. It really is. So you need to make sure that nobody else is controlling you, telling you what to wear, what not to wear, how do you spend your money, or what you can do, what you can't do. That's all. It's all control, and that's what they do. Like, where are you going? You have to come back. Or you have to let me know. Like, you know what? Come on, we're all adults. We don't need that kind of control.
And exactly, you're giving the exact sentences what they would say. And they can say very casually, oh, where are you? What you're doing? What are you wearing? You should not wear this. You should not eat that. You should not talk to your parents. You should not talk to your friends. These are all form of control, because if you talk to your friends, then the friends will come to know.
Exactly.
If you talk to your parents, they will come to know. If you talk to your doctor, they'll come to know. You'll see they'll be always there when the doctor does speak to them. So to many immigrant families, this could be normal. And
but
you think, but it is really not normal. You have to look forward. You are all educated. Most of the immigrants in America are mostly educated. But what is it that's making them having this kind of abuse, violence going on in their homes?
It's probably the men saying, oh, this is the law here. Like, we can do that. We are allowed to, like, you have to have a relationship with me because that's what the law says. And like telling them lies. And, and for some reason we get into the lies, say you have to listen to me. You have to do what I tell you to do. If not, they'll send you back and I can have the children, because they're threatening them with the children. They're threatening them with the lies. And that's what gets to the immigrants who are here, because they don't know. Because they don't speak to other people. So when they don't know, then it becomes really hard for them.
And I would also request and suggest immigrant families to go to places where you try to mix with mainstream America. The only reason is you will be protected. They are wonderful. In the beginning, you may have issues as how do you talk. Maybe they don't talk back to you, or maybe they don't understand you. But that's really not true. You go in there, even for a tea, or go somewhere where you have mainstream America gatherings, be it the library, be it in the society, talk to them. They let them know your presence in their counties, in their communities. They will protect you if they come to know anything is going on, because your husband, your companion, your boyfriend can take your passports away, say that this is done because he's the sole breadwinner at the moment, maybe, or I do not know. They can have different excuses. That is why it's very important, even if you have little children, go out. Your community is always there, but go out to mainstream, reach out to mainstream, take a little class if you need to, go to the library, take some, or go to some cake class or something where people ask you, what is your name, where do you live? This way you will start assimilating with the mainstream of whichever country you belong to.
It is what happens too a lot of times, but if you know you are in a violence, kind of domestic violence, then you should, they say what to do. Like, you can phone up Dove. We have a huge program here. You can reach out to people, like keep a copy, say, of a passport or the immigration, so that you have a copy with you if something should happen and he does get violent and that you want to escape. You can always contact people who are able to help you out here. And we have, I know, like firsthand, have had cases where people have helped one another out, and it's very important, I think, for the new immigrants to know that there is help. Just because you are new here, you could be in the same kind of relationship like everybody else who's here. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to come and talk to people who might be able to help you and direct you and tell you what to do and how to escape these kind of situations. If you are abused anytime, you can always call the police. They will come and help you out. But you also need to be aware, like, to help yourself too, to keep documentations for yourself. So I think that's important.
Very. And most of the time, we've heard from police when they have come to our shows. We've heard from police that after they get the call, then when they go to the apartment or the house, the woman comes out and says, no, nothing happened. Whereas she did make the call because she doesn't like shame. Shame
Yes.
for her husband, shame for herself. But think about it. When you left your country, you're on a journey. Your journey for a better life, not only for you, but maybe for your child who you will be bringing into this world, or you have already brought in this world. So for their sake, stand up to be the woman, reach out, not just to your neighbors of the same country, but reach out to mainstream. Learn something from mainstream, maybe once a month, cook something from mainstream. And even mainstream is suffering from dating violence, but they know how to fight once you give them the awareness or the support. They know how to fight back, but immigrants do not know how to fight back, and many times they become crazy, which we call, the term crazy is they need psychiatric help. They go back to their countries because they cannot function in this country, and then their so-called loving husband and their companion goes off and marries again. Has happened so many times.
We had a guest, unfortunately, that did come from another country, and she was abused, but she did get help. She was on our program and she talked about it, and it was emotionally very draining for all of us, but it can happen anytime, anywhere. And we also want to touch a basis on human trafficking. They say that's one of the, after drug trafficking, that's the next one. And it could be any kind of form of, when somebody is taken out, like people are lured coming here, oh no, you can make so much money here, you can do this, you can do that. And they bring young girls here, it's either for prostitution or work in domestic places, work on the farms, but not of free will. Like they think, and they take away their passports from them. It's a major problem. Like we are hearing more about it. It just happens all over the world.
It's so nice that you brought up this subject on human trafficking, because what I have come to know, we have come to know that slavery has begun and has increased with human trafficking. It's the cheapest labor which they are kidnapping or they are buying.
Yeah.
I was amazed to know somebody who is a social worker, and who doesn't speak the language of the kidnapped victim. And this young girl, she fled, and that's great for her. She fled, and she reached out to somebody who brought them to the authorities, and the social worker did the translation. And they are drugged when they are kidnapped mostly. Be careful what you drink even when you're trying to flee your country, because most of these girls either are trying to flee the country or they're looking for a better life. Somebody promises you with a better life, but you don't know what they have mixed in that water you're drinking while you're on your way.
And the same with the dating too. People say when you have like a drink, make sure that it's right in front of you, or even when you go to the bathroom, like if you don't know if somebody's put something in there, because you cannot taste it and you cannot smell it, they say. So please be aware, like, you know, when you are meeting somebody new for the first time, tell somebody that you are going out. Tell somebody, okay, this is his name at least, or what you know little about it, just in case, because you never know. You don't want to take that chance. And like as the human trafficking, that's what they do too. Like, you know, they kidnap them and they bring them over and they kind of make them shut up, saying, you know, if you don't do what we tell you, either it could be prostitution or any other kind of labor, like that, you know, that they didn't know about. It is abuse. I mean, it
is against the law.
It's
from
against
the
the
bottom of our hearts, please reach out, because sex slaves are too many now all over the world, with the refugee crisis, the immigrant situation, papers, all wanting to come to a better life. It's the saddest thing that's going on.
It is. And because somebody's preying on you, like somebody's preying on that innocent person, not who's already been abused, or who's already in a turmoil, like the country's in a turmoil, and you are abusing that person even more so. Like, that's awful.
And we here, of course, in Quincy, you can reach out to Dove. We have a hotline, but do reach out to the authorities. Don't think that you will be deported. You will not be deported. You'll be taken care of. You do not want to live that life. They've taken your passports away. They've taken your paper. You have nothing. I mean, you don't even have a passport because you flew, you somehow they kidnapped you, brought you in, drugged you, and somebody maybe is pimping on you, somebody is using yourself. Please reach out. One thing I have learned personally from life, that it's never the end. The day you say it's the end is the end. So you always have a new morning, a new sunshine every single day. So remember, in whichever situation you may be, in whichever violence you are, you will wake up and say, I'm going to fight and I'm going to see how I can break through. And it will come to you. Don't you agree?
Oh, definitely, because there is all kinds of violence, and this is major violence that we want to bring out and show people, like, if you ever in a situation where you think that, it's not going to get better, it will get better. Please believe in yourself. We believe in you, and please make sure that you take down the Dove's number to call if you want any help. And anywhere you are, like if you are being abused, you can always call 911, and somebody's out there to help you out. So we like to
absolutely.
We just want to make sure that people are aware of this.
Yes. And the 911 in America is a call that will urgently get you to the police. In whichever, if you're in the worst situation, you don't have to be scared. So do reach out, how young you are, how old you are, and you do not have to pay for the 911. So remember, just pick up the phone, any pay phone. You don't have to pay for that. You just call up and say, 911, this is the situation, help me. And they'll be there to help you. What happens in dating violence, just like Soph said, was when they mix drugs or mix some kind of opioid so that you are either drowsy or sleepy and you don't know what they are doing to you. Similarly, while they are human trafficking and you're being trafficked here in the country, you can be drugged every day so that you are drowsy and you're performing your act until you're completely dehydrated. And there are times when either the girl has died or has personally gone addicted and become and overdosed herself to run away from the situation. Do not lose hope. Do hydrate yourself always at all times, and do call 911. Don't fear. That's the biggest thing that people think, that I'll be deported, or I'll be in prison, or my family back home will get hurt, or something terrible. Always fear. Fear is the biggest thing that these people sell you. Don't fear. Be fearless. You're already in the ocean. Now you have to swim. I strongly believe that we have to get out of this situation. This is really unbearable. Then we also have stalking. Stalking is a huge violence.
It can be form of like like when they call on your cell phone. It could be on email. It could be on when they're following you. They follow you home, and they're just a nuisance. Like, I mean, you have to put a restraining order. We have restraining orders here that can help that person say, no, this is not right. I don't want that kind of attention. Basically, it's not attention that you don't want and you don't need. So that's what stalking is all about. Like, you don't, and they can be stalking your email. They can pretend, like if you have information, say on Facebook or on stuff, they can actually, like copy your put your picture up and pretend that it's you. Meanwhile, you're the abuser. So that's also has happened.
But I will also strongly request you, when you're not using your laptops or not using your computers, do turn them off, because recently, about yesterday, we have come to know that there is a webcam. If you have webcam in your computers, there is an app that they can place on that app, and they can see what you're doing at all times. We found that a woman was cleaning her house, and it was showing in the webcam. So if your laptops are on, or your
even your phones,
you
because
just
the phone has a
turn them
camera.
off. All those can have the app. It can crash, and what they are trying to do is, with that app, you are going to they're prying on you, and be careful. So stalking today is high tech. Stalking earlier stalking was someone following you, which of course is done normally, but then nowadays it's through high tech, through social media, through phones, through cameras. Young girls at night, do not leave your cameras on, do not leave your laptops on while you change your clothes, or while you're in the bathroom listening to music through laptops, or through desktops or phones. Do turn them off. This is something that just yesterday the app is out. I do not want to name the app, but this is something that in every camera they can see whatever you're doing. So that is stalking. What I see is we have run out of time, and we still have lots to say. We have violence against women at workplace, another very important violence. We have violence against same-sex relationship, which is a big population, and we have violence against refugee and immigrant women. So we hope to continue our discussion and information to you next time. Soph and me, we really want to help you in this situation. Do reach out to us. Do reach out to Dove, the authorities, 911, and the doctor. It was nice being with you all. Thank you. I'm
Thank
Misha.
And I'm Sophie.
Bye-bye.
See you next time. Bye-bye.